Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to episode 9 of The Adventure Continues, a Star Trek discussion, coming to you live on the Pacific 4 YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, and also over on X. Tonight, I am excited to talk about the following episode that we are all going to be watching tonight via Cosme, and that episode is episode 19 of Deep Space Nine's 6th season, In the Pale Moonlight. And of course, I won't be doing that alone. Captain Brandon, anime guy, will be joining me tonight, and we will watch and discuss it along with you all. And just to let you all know, what Brandon does on his channel is every Saturday morning at 10 p.m. Eastern, you can find him on his channel, Brandon the Anime Guy, where you can catch a show, Anime 101, where he discusses one specific anime, or he has a theme for different anime. 10 a.m. Eastern. That's right. Sorry about the mistake there, Brandon, but he has his morning show every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and you can catch him talking specific animes for 1 month, or a certain theme for 1 month, and he'll have guests on who have extensive knowledge on the animes that he's talking about, or he's helping new fans of anime get into the genre. Of course, you can also catch him on his channel on different days, like tomorrow, for example, doing gaming with Clifton 3D, and also a few other things, but I will let him let you all know about these other things that he does on his channel. But before we get into any of that, I do want to welcome in our guest on board Space Station Pacific 414. So, everybody, please welcome in Brandon, the anime guy.
Thank you so very much, Mike.
You're welcome, and that's on loop.
And
You
it's on
beamed in,
loop.
somebody beamed out.
Well, it's nice to be beamed aboard the Pacific 414 space station. I am, of course, the anime guy. You know me, I love anime, but what some people may not know about me is I am an absolute die-hard OG Star Trek guy. You name it, 66 to 05. 735 episodes with 10 movies included. Accept the real deal. Do not accept any substitutions or fakes. It's a fake. No, this is not a fake. That is the real deal. The whole entire DS9 run in the single collection. That's right. The long-suffering wife was nice enough to get this for me for Christmas this past year, and man, it has been an excellent addition to my overall collection. So I love Star Trek. DS9 is my game. Seen it through I don't know how many times now. And this specific episode that we are going to discuss, how many times have I seen it? Probably about 20 times by itself. It's that good. And there's so much in it. So much that has to be unpacked. So much that with Roddenberry, he was always the look at the positive things, the positive side type of person. Whereas with Ira Bear and Rick Berman, they decided to do a completely different take with with DS9 being stationary as opposed to traveling everywhere. But it paid off. It did eventually pay off, and we have more of a drama than the campy sci-fi like what we had with the original Star Trek, even though the campiness of it is what makes Star Trek awesome. But we have a captain who is the complete and polar opposite of what Picard, and he's more closer in line to Kirk, with one exception. Kirk, as General Chang put it, was a cold warrior, and for the most part that's what he was. Whereas Sisko, he is a hot war warrior. He knows what's at stake. And unfortunately, when we get to this point in the series, the stakes could not be higher.
Exactly, because as we get into this particular season, season 6 of Deep Space Nine, you have the episode The Sacrifice of Angels, where the Federation is able to take back Deep Space Nine from the Dominion Cardassian Alliance. You also have Worf and Jadzia get married during this season. I mean, there are so many great episodes of this particular season. Rocks and Shoals is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Rocks and Shoals. In fact, let's see here. So, season 6, DS9. Yeah, you just mentioned some of the first ones of them. But let me pull up the episode list here, because it is important to at least have an understanding. So, yeah, A Time to Stand, Rocks and Shoals, Sons and Daughters, Behind the Lines, Favor the Bold, and Sacrifices of Angels. This is pretty much the beginning of the whole idea of a continual story arc, like what we have in Japan, as opposed to the episodic nature that had been known through Star Trek. And even with the Next Generation, it's way more episodic than it is serialized. Whereas with this, they started off episodic and then realized, no, that doesn't work for DS9. It has to be serialized. A whole arc has to take place over a season. So you have those 6 with You're Cordially Invited right afterwards, Resurrection, Statistical Probabilities, The Magnificent Ferengi. I hate the Ferengi.
Although, you've got to admit, Armin Shimmerman did redeem the Ferengi with Quark.
Yes, I love the Ferengi. The Ferengi they're great. Waltz was really good. Who Mourns for Morn. And I like how even in the midst of all the war and the chaos of war, you get the shows like The Magnificent Ferengi, Who Mourns for Morn, Far Beyond the Stars, another absolutely fantastic
Another
episode.
absolutely top-notch episode from this season, directed by Avery Brooks.
Yep. One Little Ship, Honor Amongst Thieves, Change of Heart, Wrongs Darker Than the Death of Night. Yeah, you want to talk about learning something about yourself or about your past or your mother that you didn't want to know and never had any idea. That's one way to do it. Inquisition in the Pale Moonlight. And then right after that, His Way.
Yeah,
and have the coattails.
You have to have the coattails, but you also have to have Odo finally confess his love to Major Kira.
And probably one of my favorite episodes that's not in the Pale Moonlight, and it's its own thing. There's 2 of them. This one has the Sound of Her Voice. That's a rough one. That is a very rough one.
It's a rough one because the Defiant intercepts a subspace communication from a Federation starship, and the crew starts developing a relationship, particularly with the ship's captain. And long story short, they arrive to where the subspace distress call is coming from, and spoiler alert, the captain is already dead. And has been dead for quite some time.
2 years. It's a rough one, but this season really, it took everything they did before, cranked it up one notch, and then we have that cliffhanger there at the end when everything changes and we could see the end of the series coming to fruition, which I do like the 7th season, but it definitely has a different feel to it.
It does, and it's not just because Nicole DeBoer takes over as Ezri Dax from Terry Farrell, who played Jadzia. You could tell that the show is nearing its end.
Yes. Although one of my favorite episodes of that 7th season, Treachery, Faith, and the Great River. That's a good one. That is a fun one.
It is.
But yes, in the Pale Moonlight, it's... I had a professor who was a massive Star Trek nerd, and he called out Sisko for what he was, extremely Machiavellian. As much as, well, I do want to dive into that aspect of his character because it's both a strength and a massive major flaw within the archetype of what a Starfleet officer is supposed to be. But I want to get into that a little more once we're actually into the episode. So I just got done watching it before we got on here. I want to watch it again because there is so much to unpack, and there's spots here and there that are perfect for diving, for doing some deeper dives into the psyche of the one and only Captain Sisko, the great captain, the emissary.
And that's the thing about this episode. You get into Cisco's head. You find out what his thoughts are as to
Yes.
why what you're about to see is being done. But before we do that, I do want to acknowledge those who are in the chat, including Admiral Lady Mist. We also have Snortipupus Cuber. Good to see you, Snorty.
Snow Bear.
And we also have Tim, also known as FKHC 2005.
Howdy, Tim. Good to see you.
Yes. And I also want to thank Tim for his 2-month member chat. And he says, I like these Deep Space Nine episodes, the Dominion War. Yes, the Dominion War arc is top notch. And let's see if anyone else has rolled in. Not at this time, but as folks roll in, you're more than welcome to watch the episode alongside Brandon and myself. And I am going to go ahead and hit engage.
Engage. So this is a show that's taken place in reverse. It's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
He has lost track of time.
He's lost track of time because of what has occurred.
Mm-hmm. He needs to talk about it. Go ahead and pause it.
All right.
That's pretty massive that he can't even talk to Dax, his absolute closest, longest, oldest friend. But as he said, he can't. He can't do it.
No.
And he has to find a way to justify in his mind what he's done. You know, as it's later said, the path to hell is paved with good intentions, and man, the one thing about Sisko, his path was paved a lot further back than this episode. This is not the point where he, I guess you could say, loses his soul to save the galaxy. He lost that a long time ago. But it's with this episode that he realizes certain things about it, and yeah.
Certain sacrifices need to be made for the greater good.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and continue. Yep, got to lay it out in the log. Spell it out.
Mm-hmm. Get it off his chest.
Yep. Lay it out for himself. That damned casualty list.
I mean, think about it. He's a commanding officer on board the station, but you're seeing this casualty list of people who are either missing, killed in action, mounting up week after week. And what would you start thinking?
It mounts on you. It wears on you, especially when he is technically the reason for the whole thing going.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the Romulan neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and pause it.
All right.
So, if you are somebody who is typically at odds with either the Klingons or the Federation, who would you side with? Your frenemies or someone who could take out your frenemies? Well, the Romulans...
Someone who could take out your frenemies.
Mm-hmm.
it's
So
even pointed out in this episode. You want to see the Federation get a bloody nose.
basically get some comeuppance for all the times that they've made you more. Although as a Romulan, you'll never admit it. But what better way than to have someone else do the dirty work that you don't want to do? You don't have to sacrifice any of your ships, any of your personnel, none of that. You can have somebody else do it. Of course, they're going to sign a pact of non-aggression, especially after the last time that they tried to join the Federation and Klingon fleet. It turned out to be, for at least in their eyes, maybe nothing more than a ruse. They probably did get told what the Changeling tried to do, but at the same time, did they offer any proof? I don't know. You see, that's the thing about this. Having them join the Dominion technically doesn't make sense. It's illogical. Precisely because of how willing they were to stand against them when they thought they were having a whole entire massive fleet come through the first time. And when they did get part of their fleet through, and then the wormhole got mined, and then Sisko was able to get the Prophets to stop any future Dominion ships from coming through, why all of a sudden would they choose to side with them?
Precisely.
To me, it doesn't make sense.
And what you're referring to occurs in season 5. The Khitomer Accords are reinstated.
Mm-hmm.
And tensions are building up because Deep Space Nine sensors are picking up Dominion ships coming here, there, and everywhere, especially after they came through the wormhole. Gul Dukat joins them in his bird of prey. And when
Basically
all seems...
betrays everybody.
Yeah. When all seems like it's lost, then the Romulans decloak and ask to join the fleet because of this mounting threat, which to them, as you said, at this point, is a ruse. So they sign this non-aggression pact in season 6.
Mm-hmm. And they allow the Dominion to do their bloody nose thing. Go ahead and press play again. Let's continue that. But yeah, the Romulans don't care. Yep. Non-aggression pact. And Dax is absolutely correct. The Doctor is also right. But Dax makes a better Romulan than anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about it. 7 lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
Curzon
Dax has seen it all.
The last host before Jadzia, and who knows Romulan's better than Curzon?
Yep. Curzon would know them all very well. Yep. Sisko stepped through the door. He was going to do whatever it took to bring the Romulans into the war. While the opening credits are rolling, I do want to discuss the one part I mentioned earlier about Sisko losing his soul before.
Okay.
When you look back at all the things that he had done, finding the wormhole, going through the wormhole, exploring it, having the first encounter with the Jem'Hadar, knowing what they were going to do, getting the Defiant class out of mothballs and perfecting it, making it the first Federation warship ever. The spars with the Dominion, the eventual Dominion incursions into the Klingon hierarchy, starting the war against the Federation, having all of that occur, and then he takes the time to step back from all of that warmongering to go after those of the Maquis.
Mm-hmm.
And willing to do literally anything, including genocide of entire planets, to get what he wants. Now, I ask you, would Kirk have done that?
Absolutely not.
Would Picard have done that?
No, Picard would have used diplomacy.
Hell, even to an extent, we know that Janeway has her issues, but would she have done that?
I don't believe she would.
No.
Sisko was the only one that had the guts to do what those captains wouldn't do.
There's one other captain.
To go after Eddington, too.
Yep. Archer would have made these type of decisions. When we look back at the Zenigati or the Zenkathy incident, he did do anything and everything to defend and win. He's the only other one that could possibly maybe understand.
Yeah.
Yep. It's in their interest. How do you make them get joining the war against the Dominion into their interest?
Mm-hmm. It has to be to the benefit of the Romulan Star Empire.
Mm-hmm. And Dax spells it out perfectly for what he's up against. Whose word is worth what?
Mm-hmm.
Federation's word worth it, or are the Dominion's word worth it?
If you're the Romulans, you're going to go with the Dominion.
Yeah. Yep. Speculation versus actual hard facts or proof. Your chaotic empire next to the perfect order.
Perfect dialogue.
Yep. Yep. No self-serving arguments of a Starfleet officer is going to override a non-aggression pact you already have in place. Already have in place. You made a fine Romulan. Yeah, she likes the spots more than the ears.
And with Jadzia, she became, one of the pivotal characters aside from Major Kira. I mean, if there's someone that you want at your side in a situation where you may not get out of it, you want Jadzia right there.
Yeah. And as they discussed, the only place that any of this type of proof might exist would be on Cardassia itself.
Mm-hmm.
Although trying to get to Cardassia Prime now is a lot harder than it used to be.
Yeah.
Enter one Elam Garrick. No, just plain simple Garrick.
Just a simple Taylor.
Go ahead and pause it if you would for just a second.
No problem, brother.
Concentrate at the issue at hand. Yes, drop the pleasantries, Garrick. Let's just get down to business. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to wait around. What is this? I love Garrick. Garrick is the everything anti-Federation, the total opposite. If you ever get a chance to read any books about Garrick that Andrew Robinson himself wrote, they're quite good. There's one specifically on his whole entire life, how he got into the Order, who he is. I mean, really is. And it's absolutely fascinating. But yes, Elam Garrick, the plain, simple Garrick. Of course, the spy. The Obsidian Order agent. By this point, it's pretty well established that yes, he was. He still toys with them and the spinning of the lies, as he puts it to Odo. Practice. You got to, like any other skill, you got to practice.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that some fans may not know about Andrew Robinson is he's claustrophobic. So when he was first having the makeup process put on, as soon as they put that wig on, he felt locked in, like he couldn't escape.
He embraced it, and they embraced that whole thing with with episodes that happened back in the 5th season. So
that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, there are good episodes with Garrick too.
Oh yeah, for a recurring character that pops up every now and then, Garrick is the best. He is by far the best supporting character. Maybe you could probably say Nog is really good. He does have a lot of good stuff. But Garrick is by far the best. It ain't even close. That's right. Garrick has no love for the Dominion. But he spells out the problems of why going to Cardassia right now would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But at least with Garrick, he is sober enough to know the stakes. And unlike Cisco, he knows exactly what will need to be done to make this happen and isn't afraid to do it.
Not at all.
I've still got a few contacts, yes. An old friend. That would mean calling in all my favors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't seem too happy about that, but
No. After
the
all,
stakes are
in Way of
high.
the Warrior, we know that Garrick still had contacts in the Obsidian Order when he contacted Gul Dukat about the incoming Klingon invasion force.
Yep. Yeah, making him an omnisexual is stupid as hell. In the book that he wrote, Garrick is not that. Garrick is straight. He appreciates strength, but he's not gay. He's not omnisexual. He's not any of that bullshit. He can't do it alone. Are you in or out?
And Avery
I like how
Brooks'
he says it.
performance in this episode is just wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, these two played off each other so well. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Pay any price, go to any length for the cause of righteousness. How far to hell are you willing to go for the cause of righteousness?
Yeah, and I'm reading what Tim said. He said it both on StreamYard and in Cosme. One thing he thought they should have done once the Dominion War started was they should have gotten a Marquis story. Maybe they got them to help cause issues behind the lines.
Yeah, they could have done that.
Yeah.
And now Beta Z has been invaded, and Cisco is up and going, nah. Bad news always comes during the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And
it also comes in threes.
Mm-hmm. And of course, with the fleets being decimated as they are at this point, the 10th fleet is depleted, so they can't cover everything while they're out on exercises, so...
No.
Beta Z is not a fighting planet. They had no way to defend themselves. And yep, Beta Z opens the door to the whole entire Federation.
And that was very important for this season to point that out, how close Beta Z was to those planets.
Yep. It's been 3 days, Garrick. How do you look at progress? Yep, Garrick is a wordsmith, as much as he is a tailor.
Mm-hmm.
As much as he is a gardener. As much as he is everything to everyone. And now we find out that every single contact he had has died. All dead in one day. Dominion security is quite effective. Much more so than...
how swiftly they act.
Yeah. But I do like the fact that Garrick comes back and says, hey, the stakes are much higher than just a few dead operatives. Don't give up now.
Mm-hmm.
At least, yeah. The case that Cisco made him is...
He reminds Cisco,
Mm-hmm.
you came to me about your problem, about this problem. We're going through with it.
And that everything that they have to go through is much bigger than just dead people. There's already too many dead people.
Yeah, it goes back to the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one.
Go ahead and pause it again, if you would. Yeah, it's at this point that Cisco starts doubting what he's doing. But then he realizes that Garrick is right. He can't operate within the standard Starfleet modus operandi. It's not working. They're losing. What good are your morals and ethics if you're dead?
Exactly.
And that everything that your culture would be totally gone. And what good would it be to cling to those ethics or morals when
there
you
would
have
be
an
no
enemy
record of them
who's-
left.
Yeah, exactly. And now we get Senator Vreenak. You gotta love how Garrick is in the know about everything. And Cisco asks him, he's like, I'm not telling you. How do you know he'll be on Sakara? There's some things I'd rather not discuss. Just
Just listen to my plan, and
yeah. Secret meeting at the highest levels. Ooh.
you know what? While the season was going, I actually went into a Kmart and found one of the Playmates. These say sign figures of Garrick, and I picked it up.
Very
I still
nice.
have it.
Ooh. Oh, the optolytic data rods. Now going through the plan of creating creating the perfect ruse. He'll want to examine it. Yes, of course he will. The genuine appearing optolytic data rod.
Mm-hmm.
The most perfect forgeries. Yeah, less you know the plan, the better. Exactly. Plausible deniability.
Nope.
And now he's saying he's got to talk to Starfleet Command after what he's already started. And he's like, Garrick's like, yeah, with Beta Z gone, do you think they're going to say no? And I like how they do those pauses right about when they're going to transition from one scene to another.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Garrick.
Yep.
And
If
the man
anyone
didn't-
shows their acting chops in this episode, it's Andrew Robinson.
Oh yeah, they know how to act. They know how to make the television format work. Grathon Tolar. And a few days later, he's on DS9. The Klingons were going to kill me, man. The terms of Grathon Tolar's parole.
Mm-hmm. Create the data rod.
Yeah. And then a name gets dropped. If you would, go ahead and pause it for just a second.
Okay.
Let's count up how many charges and war crimes technically Cisco commits here. So, starting with this, he is the starter of the war, so he's a warlord, basically. Even though it's with the blessing of Starfleet, he's still the chief warlord. Let's see, what did he do? Attempted genocide of the Maquis. What else has he done so far just in this? Conspired with a known spy and enemy of the Federation.
Well, not only that, even though it was under Starfleet orders, conspiring to kill the Chancellor of the Klingon High Council.
Yep. Yep, the Klingon High Council.
And that would be Galron.
Yep. What else? What else has he done? He punched Q in the face.
Well,
fighting with gods is not exactly the thing you want to have.
that's something you want to do, but you notice that Q only shows up once in the entire series and never shows up again.
Yep. He knew
But
better. I think he had an inkling of what he was, and he's like, I don't want any part of a species or of a godlike entity that exists outside of space time. Because Q exists inside of space time. Cisco doesn't. So yeah.
and,
He's been a very naughty boy.
yeah,
So let's see. Conspired to kill the Klingon the counselor, or Chancellor Galron. He has now freed whatever Tolar was, whatever things he was convicted of doing. And then he becomes an accessory to attempted murder. Let's go ahead and press play, because we're just getting the list of charges started here. You're working for me, not Starfleet. And of course, he thinks he's wanting Dabo girls dancing around. And Orion slave girls. Who doesn't like Orion slave girls? Mr. Garrick will be along shortly. And Tolar just freezes and like, oh shit, Garrick.
Yep. and to answer your question, DJ, Andrew Robinson is only playing Garrick in this episode.
Yes.
Now, if it were Jeffrey Combs, he'd be playing every part.
Every other character, yeah. Jeffrey Combs is a fantastic actor. Great as a Ferengi. Great as, what's his face?
Wayun.
Yep. Odo to the captain.
And he was great as Strand on Enterprise.
Yep. And now Grathon Tolar just tried to kill Quark. And of course, Cisco's like, God, fa.
Really?
Yeah, accessory to attempted murder. And about drunk himself into oblivion before he attacked Quark. Oh, let's see. He was also getting handsy with Impella.
A double girl.
Yep. Quark being chivalrous. The only person allowed to do that with the double girls is me.
They're my employees. I pay them.
Yep. Tolar's no friend, but he's working for him. Sensitive Federation security matter. Yes, Morn would win. 2 stomachs. Oh, special security measures. Now, go ahead and pause this real quick, if you will.
Okay.
This is where the difference between Cisco and Odo really comes through. Odo is there's only one time that he really, there's a few times he kind of bends the rules, but it's for the cause of justice. Whereas in this case, he was ready to take Tolar into custody, get it all on file, and have everything exposed. And he basically told Cisco, look, he gets what position he's in. But if Quark presses charges, I ain't going to stop him, even though that could wipe out everything. Odo is a man of conviction, for better or worse.
He's law and order, just like the founders themselves.
Yes, very, very strict, mostly very strict law and order. So, all right, let's continue here. But only if Quark agrees to press charges. So here we go. What other charges does Cisco? What other crimes does Cisco commit?
Well, he's bribing Quark here.
Yep, bribery of a known criminal mastermind. And yes, I will call Quark a criminal mastermind, because in his own way he is.
Yes, because Odo's always keeping an eye on him.
Yep. Here's the bribery. We'll also charge him with what's living or accepting the laws outside the Federation. So a bribe is acceptable in Ferengi culture. Oh, let's see. Here's the replacing the clothes, the compensation for business.
Couldn't you say extortion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he extorted Tolar. Cargo containers, so improper inspection. Improper import-export. We can call it a bribe. And of course, for Quirk, speaking the rules of acquisition, every man has his price.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how much it pains Cisco to do it.
Yep.
That was his first moment of real doubt. Not everything else before. That was the first part. So that's a character problem.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and pause it again if you would.
Sure.
When a person first starts out in life, you know, as he did, being the young, naive Starfleet officer, going through everything that happened, surviving Wolf 359, becoming the emissary to the prophets, and everything that had happened up to this point, it has severely changed him as a person, and not just you know, being more world weary or more aware of what he can or can't do, or any of those things, like how it is more with Picard. He does start to realize, as he says here, he's standing there arguing the finer points of morality and ethics when people are dying in millions upon millions, fighting for their survival, yet here he is, you know, a little ways away from the front line now, where he's able to sleep in a nice warm bed. And it's like, do I really have the audacity to sit here and argue with myself over this, or not take this course of action, which I know has to be done, just because he had to do a bribe to keep Tolar out of away from Odo, to be able to complete his mission.
You know, it's ethics.
Yeah. Yeah. His ethics have been, his ethical thinking, his logical thinking on ethics have been skewed because of this war. It has worn him down so far, so much more than I think even he realized. And that's why he had to go through and do this log. We'll talk about that at the end. Here, go ahead and press play again if you would. Let's continue.
Not a problem.
Yes, Snortopoopus, you're right. Another damn list. People are dying out there every day. Entire worlds are struggling for their freedom. He pulls a Shatnerian level of performance here, and it's so
he does.
Good. To keep my eyes on the ball, win the war. The priorities. He always found a way to keep things aside. Now Garak is joining him in the turbo lift. And now here comes the real.
It starts
big
getting
lift.
more interesting.
Yeah. Go ahead and pause it again if you would.
Okay.
You seem angry. He locked him in his quarters, and he left him with the distinct impression that if he should try to open the door, a bomb would go off. And of course, Cisco comes back and says, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "It's best not to dwell on such minor minutia."
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes Garak such a great character. He's willing to, push the envelope.
Hell, that's what you have to do as a spy. Sometimes you have
Mm-hmm.
to do things that are severely unsavory. But yeah, with Garrick, he was where Cisco is now. He's been there, he's done that, he lived through this, and he knows what it takes to get through these and how to eventually, as Cisco puts it, learn to live with it. But it's at this point, Cisco has done what so far? Warlord, attempted genocide, conspired with a known spy, attempted murder of the Chancellor of the Klingon High Command, accessory to attempted murder, bribery of a known criminal mastermind, never convicted but known, accepting laws outside of the Federation, extortion, improper importing and exporting of goods, and having characteristics unbecoming of a Starfleet officer. Now we're going to add on another, the biomimetic gel, and giving it away for use in who knows what. So what would be the crime here, giving this away for an exchange of...
Giving away Federation secrets.
Yep. Let's see. Controlled substance. Controlled substance abuse, not by him, but not abuse, but what's the word I'm looking for here? It's basically like the jailer having all the cocaine and then he gives it to someone to basically bribe again to get something that he needs.
Conspiring.
Let's see. I can't think of the proper term. Well, we'll continue there. So yeah, all of that was child's play. Now that he's got to do the biomimetic gel.
Yeah.
It may explode. Best not to dwell on such minutia. Illegal distribution.
Thank you, Snorty.
How do you know the rod's real? Oh, trust me, Captain. I know. Money is of no thing for this gentleman. That's a lot of leaders.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Cisco has the reaction he does.
Yep. Believe me, Captain, I would if I didn't have any problem, if I knew for sure. Yep, it's a controlled substance. Supposedly not for sale for any price. But as Quark said, Rule 98.
Mm-hmm. Every man has his price.
Every man has his price. And I like how Garrick reinforces that, minor miracle, having somebody with one willing to part with it at any price, because it itself is also a
Rare commodity.
massive thing. So Cisco's like, let's just forget the whole thing. And then 2 seconds later, he changes his mind. And he says he can't do that much, but he is willing to haggle.
Mm-hmm.
To negotiation. And the Cisco just looks like, oh, Lord, what have I done now?
But I love that look into the camera. Cisco's essentially speaking to the audience. What have I done?
All right. Now he orders Bashir to give it over, even after Bashir gives his speech about what it can and can't do. And Cisco's like, I don't give a shit. You're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
85 liters of this stuff. And he wants it in writing and in triplicate. And I'm going to protest with Starfleet Command and with the medical board.
Yep.
So this could technically be giving an illegal order to an underling. That's another charge he could face. To a subordinate. And now the creation of the hologram program. And just me looking at it, I couldn't tell the difference if this was real or not.
No, neither could I. It looks
Because we know
authentic.
how Wei-Yun and what's his face is
Damar.
Damar. Yeah. Cardassia. Mutual self-loathing and pettiness.
And you can tell that part is specifically inserted by Garrick.
Yes.
He and Goldicott did not see eye to eye.
No, and there are reasons for it. And the
Mm-hmm.
reasons run deep. Oh, that's a whole other story. That's actually expounded upon in the book that he wrote.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? It's better. Petty bickering and mutual loathing. It's satisfactory. And of course, Garrick gives the instructions. Oh, and now he's got the senator coming his way in secret. Just put it in the box. Put it in the case.
I don't love the way Andrew Robinson uses his eyes as Garrick.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
As
very
an
expressive.
intimidation tactic.
You're not going everywhere. I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Do not mess with the Cisco.
You can't keep me here against my will. I haven't done anything wrong. Yep, he's channeling his inner Vader. Let's see. Threat of death against a known criminal.
And a
in
non-Federation
the-
citizen.
Yep. Let's see. Threat of death, known criminal in the commission of a crime. Yeah. Well, Garrick does spell it out here in just a little while. But you're right. He does. Yeah. Now he just realizes that something's wrong with him. He's been under way too much pressure. He's lost his hair. He didn't go. He didn't go
their
salt and pepper.
excuse for telling him to, grow his hair and get rid of the goatee. I thought it was stupid.
Yeah. He was the one who had to lie to a senator of the
Of a
Romulan.
foreign power.
Yeah, to a foreign power. Oh, and there Garrick lays the reason to go to the ship. And of course, Cisco doesn't expect a thing. He doesn't think in this way. Even though he's going down that path, he's not fully there yet. He isn't fully committed to it. They'll never know I was on their ship.
I like that, Francisco. Just make sure you don't get caught. Garrick has his ways.
And Worf was pissed seeing Garrick with him. Even though I do think he respects Garrick on some fronts, his run-ins with him in the past is something that still causes him grief.
Yeah, especially when there was a chance to take out the Changeling homeworld, and Worf wouldn't let Garrick do it.
Yep. And Worf is like, ugh. The subspace signal. No reply. And now the door is open for the runabout pads.
And I don't know about you, but I like being able to see that exterior shot.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a very good special effects shot. It looks really good. And of course, it's all of this is practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Garrick is just sitting there like, okay, are they really there? And once no one
Because
else can see, they decloak.
at this point in the series, they were using a combination of practical special effects models and CGI.
Yep. Mr. Garrick, being around you has made me develop a very thick skin. And Garrick is like, you are learning.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know damn well that Garrick thinks he's naive. In a lot of ways, Cisco is, but that's just standard Federation.
That's your
Everything.
standard Starfleet officer not being totally aware of everything around them.
Yep. And of course, the Senator knows everything about Cisco. Oh, yes. The man who started the war with the Dominion. So I think we covered that charge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, charge of warlord, but also war instigator.
And I like that Vreenak says that he has a very low opinion of Starfleet officers.
Yep. And Vreenak lays it out just perfectly. You know, They're losing, and they're losing bad. Now he's talking with Vreenak. A fair approximation of a Romulan ale. Kalifal. Kalima. Kalima.
Typical dude. I haven't watched that movie in a while.
And he's trying to win him over with flattery. And for some people that works, but not
for Vreenak.
Yeah. Well, not with the man that signed the treaty and got the treaty through with the Dominion to begin with. Yep. They've got no shortage of shock troopers.
And this just tells you about the Romulans' intelligence network.
Yep. Yeah, and the Dominion is willing to win the war no matter what. Is the Federation willing to do so? And Vreenak thought no. And of course, he's trying to use logic on the guy. But he's not a Vulcan, he's a Romulan. You will be surrounded. There's a word for that. Surrounded. At least Vreenak is willing to admit that, yeah, that's something that he has to think about or something that he had to consider when he signed the treaty.
But he's not entirely fooled by Cisco.
Yeah. What if I told you? I'd want proof. I shall give you the proof that you desire. And the way he's looking at it, he's like, oh shit, this might actually be real.
And I don't know about you, but when it came to the background music and how it evolved as the series went on, it really became more effective when you get to the Dominion Cardassian Federation War.
Yeah, the soundtrack for this is definitely better than TNG's was good, but this is better. Do you wish to dispute the judgment of the founders? We serve the founders. I serve the founders, as do we all.
Well, just like the Gemini say, obedience brings victory, and victory is life.
And of course, the Romulan senator is skeptical.
Oh, you can't blame him.
No, because that does seem to be out of character, at least for how he has always viewed or his dealings with the Dominion. But even so, he still has to think in the back of his mind that this is always a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
The souffle will rise, or it won't. Not a damn thing you can do except for to wait. So I waited. After doing all of this spycraft stuff, trying to go back to the mundane life of a captain is no fun.
No. I also like how we find out more about Joseph Sisko. Some of the wisdom that he passed on to Benjamin.
Yep.
And
I'm not an impatient man. But yes, the wisdom of his father, something that he told him a long time ago, coming to fruition.
And see, when I was just deciding which image I would use for the thumbnail, I thought, what if when he had both his palms together, contemplating about what's going on, instead of using the obvious, it's a fake.
It's a fake. That's one of the best, the best lines in Star Trek. It's a fake.
And it became a popular meme to use, too.
Yep. The cost of failure is too high. And that's something that Sisko never considered with this whole enterprise. That you can't fail. And because of the fact you can't fail, you have to do anything and everything within your power, including selling your soul to the devil, Garrick.
Mm-hmm. And here it comes.
Yep. Although I find it funny that he tells his people to leave. The door shuts. It's a fake. You can see it in his face like, oh shit. We're screwed. And then it comes back his facepalm going with his head.
I mean, even Vreenek's face, like, you lied to me, you son of a bitch.
Yep. Yep. All the lies, all the everything. Yeah, I can't blame him either.
No.
And Sisko doesn't blame him. Oh. 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised it actually took 2 days, but whatever.
It just depends on how long Garrick set the detonator.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want it exploding anywhere near
DS9.
DS9, so. And here comes Worf. Oh, and you can see it in his face like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, not even Dax has figured out that this was part of what happened with Sisko. It looks like he cut her out of the whole thing once he started talking to Garrick, and now Sisko is all, oh Lord.
Yeah, it was only between Sisko and Garrick. He didn't tell any of the senior staff.
Plausible deniability, and that was good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else? So we have assault of a tailor.
Mhm.
Plant a bomb on his shuttle. It's not quite that simple, Captain. Yep. They did not die in vain. And Garrick spells it out exactly as it happens. Because this is exactly the type of thing that he would have done in their place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Garrick laid the plan and executed it perfectly.
Because he knew that he could do what Sisko couldn't.
Yep. And everything that Sisko had in his doubts with Vreenek discovering it's a fake, Garrick explains that the explosion would have damaged the rod just enough to make it look like it was damaged in the explosion and to make it look real. What conclusion would you draw? Yep. Vreenek got the rod on Sakura, and the Dominion killed him for it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because they acted like
He's telling
Romulans.
Sisko, "Don't feel so sorry, Captain."
Yeah. This is why you came to me, isn't it? You knew I could do those things that you were not capable of doing. And it worked.
It did.
All it cost. And the self-respect of one Starfleet officer. And then he tilts his head up just like that. It's like, holy cow, yeah. Is it a bargain? Yes, technically it is a bargain.
Mm-hmm. It gives the Federation what they need. An ally.
Turning point of the war. I lied. I cheated. Yep. He acknowledges everything he's done.
He acknowledges his guilt. His part in the whole plot. And now his acceptance.
I think I can live with it. Yep. If he had to do it again, he would. And he realizes that Garrick was right.
I can live with it.
Yep. I like how he's about to drink and he's like, I don't need this anymore. He can live with it. He convinces himself one more time. And you can see after his confession, he's like, you know what? I am okay with this.
Mm-hmm. I can put my head down at night and sleep perfectly fine with everything that's occurred.
Yep. Erase the entire log. Confession.
And that's the perfect way
over.
to end the episode.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's so good. So good. Oh. Everything about this episode is perfect. The pacing, the writing, the acting, the camera angles. Cinematography is massively important to this episode. And you see all the angles that they shoot Sisko in his in his personal quarters. They use all the tricks with this. Every single thing that goes right for, from the cinematography side, from the audio special effects side, the acting side, perfect. This is the 10 out of 10 episode. It is perfect.
When I first saw this episode, of course, this is back in, 98.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite into 99 yet, but it's in 98. But when you first see this episode, and you get all the way through it, and you get to that last scene of Sisko saying, "I can't live with it." It's like Deep Space Nine has just jumped far over Next Generation. If it hadn't done so already for other fans.
Yeah. If TNG was for the young teenager, DS9 was for the adult.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And, we talk about the whole thing of what he is, very Machiavellian. If anybody knows who Machiavelli was, he was the type of person that was not above doing things to get exactly what he needed, including all the things that Sisko had to do. So let's go through his full list of crimes, confessions, character flaws, everything.
You want to share that on screen?
Yeah, let's share that on the screen. Let's share this here. Here we go. Da-da-da-da. So here is the list. He is a warlord. He attempted genocide of the Maquis, conspired with a known spy and enemy of the Federation, conspiring to kill the Chancellor of the Klingon High Counselor, or the Klingon High Council, Chancellor Galron, accessory to attempted murder, bribery of a known criminal mastermind, accepting laws outside of the Federation in a place where those laws do not exist, aka the Ferengi. What's their
the Ferengi
rules
Alliance.
of acquisition?
Yeah, the rules of acquisition.
Extortion, improper importing and exporting of goods, massive character flaws, behaviors unbecoming a Starfleet officer, a controlled substance illegal distribution, giving an illegal order to a subordinate, threat of death against a known criminal in the commission of a crime, straight up lying to a senator of a foreign power. I've also re-added war instigator, accessory to assassination to a head of state and their security detail, assault of Garrick, and, via war, accessory to a genocide.
Yeah, you want to know something about this episode? Even after you see all that, and you see what Sisko did, fans just got behind Sisko even more.
Yep. And that's precisely because when your back's up against the wall and you're absolutely, an animal is most dangerous when it's trapped.
When they're backed into a corner.
And at that point, the Federation was absolutely 100% against the wall. So,
diplomacy
matter of
had
survival.
failed. So you have to come up with a plan to try to save not just the Federation, but the entire quadrant.
Yep. And being the space hippies wouldn't do it. No, it doesn't make you a bad bear at all. There's a reason why Sisko is by far the best captain out of all of them. And I'm even willing to go as far to put him up there with Kirk. With Kirk, he was an explorer. He was a maverick, but he wasn't a warmonger. Whereas technically Sisko is, but he's a reluctant warmonger. All of these things were thrust upon him because of the fact that he is the emissary to the prophets. He stayed on DS9. He found out who was running the Gamma Quadrant, had the first contact with the founders, went through the Cold War problems with the founders, was the lead designer of the Defiant,
which was
who was
originally
with
designed to fight the Borg.
yeah, it was part of the anti-Borg fleet that they had developed to take on the Borg. So it got adapted to take on the Dominion. How many basically how many deaths is directly tied to his actions?
You could, maybe you don't, maybe other people don't, but you could also tie the death of the crew of the Odyssey to Cisco.
Yep. Yep, because they died trying to save him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yet we still love Cisco. When people ask us about Cisco, it's like, yeah, that's the captain I want to serve with.
yep, because he got to the point where he knew that in order to survive, in order for the Federation to have any chance of reestablishing any type of semblance of peace that they once had, they had to go all out against the Dominion. There was
Mm-hmm.
no choice. It had to be done.
Ships had to be upgraded. Their shields were inadequate. Phasers were inadequate. Torpedo systems were inadequate against the Dominion.
Yep. Yep, everything was inadequate. And then you get the upgraded Lakota. Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
probably the most vicious ship of the Excelsior class, and that's not just a
Yep.
standard Excelsior. That's an Enterprise B styled Excelsior, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah. It was a good reuse of the model,
yep,
and given an explanation as to why that particular Excelsior class ship looked the way it did, considering every other Excelsior class ship we'd seen looked exactly like the Excelsior. Granted, that was still the same Excelsior model. They just added some bits to it. You know, the outer hull, and then two more impulse engines.
yep. That particular one, it was as close to a warship as they got with the Excelsior. Plus, just as a side note, the Enterprise B carried a cloaking device. And the Lakota was designed in the same vein. It was capable of handling a cloaking device. So, yeah. Absolutely amazing. Top notch episode. Perfection. Now, if we could just get what was once Paramount and what's now whatever it is it's being called, they
Paramount
need,
Skydance Corporation is what
yeah,
it's being called.
they need to stop fucking around and give us an HD scan of the original recordings and give us
Well,
a 4K release of it.
let me ask you. I'm sure the answer is yes. Have you seen What We Left Behind, the documentary about
Yep,
DS9?
seen it, and what little work they did do, it looked absolutely
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Yeah,
They,
the
they, they,
Enterprise.
they could they could do
Mhm.
it to the rest of the series with those exterior shots because the series itself was originally shot in widescreen.
Yep. Yeah, they could take the original film and just do a straight up restoration, and it'd be great. But yeah, the Enterprise B and the Lakota were an Excelsior refit, and they were made at the time before the Treaty of Algeron was signed, prohibiting Starfleet from using cloaking devices. So if you look at some of the alpha and beta canon of Star Trek, the Enterprise B was more of a clandestine ship, and the Lakota is built the same way, so it could house a cloaking device without a problem and actually work with it. But as you saw, it was able to be upgraded to, at that time, the latest Type 10 phasers, to quantum torpedoes and a much bigger, much more powerful warp drive engine. It was basically as powerful as a Galaxy class ship. Had the Galaxy class been tuned more for warfare as opposed to exploration.
They actually upscaled those exterior shots from Sacrifice of Angels.
Yeah.
They actually painstakingly upscaled them to show Paramount it can be done. You're saying that these digital effects for DS9 and Voyager that were used in those series in the later seasons can't be upscaled into HD quality, we're showing you yes they can.
Yep, but they won't do it because they're cheapskates and they're morons, and they've spent all their money on Klutzman and
Well, that there are
those
other
assholes.
excuses that the next generation Blu-ray sets cost so much money and they didn't make a lot of money back. I call BS on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. They're just nobody in that company knows what the hell they're doing these days. And it still shows.
Yeah. And we'll have to wait and see what Skydance does, because I was reading one article saying even if they do new Star Trek, we won't actually see it until 2027 when Kurtzman's deal is up completely.
Yeah, so we got to deal with Kurtzman and that abomination that they're coming out with.
Yeah. Like that Starfleet Academy. Harv Bennett pitched a Starfleet Academy series and he was turned down, and for good reason.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be a giant CF.
And you're absolutely right about the Sovereign class, Snorty. It was a newer ship with newer weapons, newer shield systems, torpedoes, having quantum torpedoes just like the Defiant. And
Yep.
they never showed it having a cloak, but I bet you could have equipped a cloaking device on that ship and it wouldn't suffer any power loss.
Yeah, it could handle it, although yeah, as I said, the treaty with Valdron still was in effect, but even with them having the Defiant and having the cloak that was lent to them that they just kept.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the original terms for using the cloaking device on the Defiant once it could only be used in the Gamma Quadrant, but then things changed where Cisco's like, I don't care, I'm using it here in the Alpha Quadrant because we've got to rescue Gul Dukat and the delegation that's on board his ship from the Klingons.
Yep. Yeah, there comes a limit when you just have to. There comes a point where you have to say the hell with it and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's great. I love Star Trek. I love original Star Trek, and this was a perfect episode.
Yeah, because I remember when you had me on your channel a few months back, I was telling you about The Adventure Continues, a Star Trek discussion, and you had mentioned that this would definitely be an episode you'd want to talk about. And then, of course, we get into communication about you coming on for tonight, and you told me you were deciding between a few episodes. When one of them being an animated series episode, if you don't mind telling the folks what that episode would have been.
Yeah, that would have been the second episode of the animated series. What is it called? The episode where they go back to the Guardian and they come back, or Kirk and Spock come back through, but everything is different. Spock no longer exists, and he has a different first officer that's an Andorian.
Voiced by Jimmy Doohan.
Yep. And then, yeah, yesteryear. And then Spock has to figure out what the hell happened. And he finally puts two and two together that he had to, that something happened. They go through the records and they find out that something happened to him while he was young. And he's like, I don't remember it being that way. Oh, now I know. We had a distant relative of mine come to stay with us during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he figures out that, wait, that's me.
That's himself in the future.
Yes. That's one of my favorites. That's a very good one.
Because when it comes to the animated series, Brandon, I really consider seasons 1 and 2 of the animated series seasons 4 and 5 of the original series.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just a continuation of what they were doing. Of course, since it was animated, they were able to have more aliens, or non-humans, on the ship. So, yeah, yesteryear is really good. It
Yeah,
really is
it
good.
is a good episode. So is the Infinite Vulcan, which was written by Walter Koenig, even though Chekhov never appeared on the animated series. Walter Koenig got the opportunity to actually write an episode.
Yep. The Infinite Vulcan. Oh, these animated episodes, they're very unique, very
Hmm.
distinctive, and they are a lot of fun.
They are a lot of fun because, in the spirit of things, at their core, they're still Star Trek.
Yep.
It,
Yeah, that it is.
is there anything else you'd like to say about this episode or any other episodes from the series?
Brush up on your DS9, start from the beginning. I know some of the first episodes are very difficult to go through, but that's just how it is. They were finding their footing, and it wasn't until they got into the second season then they started to find most of it. And then in season 3, it started to really take off. And
Mm.
once they got to Worf, which some people like that he was there, other people are like, why? We just got done with him. But once he's there, and they have the Defiant all the time, it does change the dynamic of the show entirely. And I do like how they show how war and command takes its toll on people. Some people, it doesn't change them all that much. Others, it wears them down, and you can see the decisions that Cisco has to take. It starts to wear on him. It really
And it
does.
starts to wear on him, it starts to wear on the entire crew. Because
Yep.
they see that they're fighting a losing battle. Even with the Klingons at their side, they're still fighting a losing battle. And then it gets worse when the Breen come into the picture.
Yep. Yeah. When they show up, it really all goes to hell.
And then, of course, you lose the original Defiant. And then they get a new Defiant, which was originally the Sao Paulo.
Yep. Yeah. The Sao Paulo is just not the same as the
No.
Defiant. It's a good ship, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, Jadzia grows a lot as a character. Bashir, a character that I didn't like in the beginning, he starts to grow on you.
Yeah. Once it's discovered what he really is, then he just goes all out.
Hmm.
So
So,
yeah.
Brandon, what do you have coming up on your channel?
Well, let's see. Tomorrow morning, Clifton and I are gonna play. I don't know why I agreed to it, but I did. Super Mario Brothers 3, original NES, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And throughout the rest of the week, it all depends. It all depends upon how I feel after being done with work. I'm still in training, and it takes it out of me pretty good. So, but if we do anything during the week, we'll have to finish putting together our 90s watch list and play some more. Oh, let's see, what have I got to still play and finish? Still got to defeat Lunar, the Silver Star Story, and Claire Obscura Expedition 33.
Nice. And I
So,
did see that you recently played the remaster of DuckTales.
yeah, I did that yesterday just for the shits and giggles. It's a fun one. It's a game that you just can't go and buy, not even on Steam. It's been delisted, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I still have my PS3. It's still on there. And my PS3, at least at this particular point in time, still works. So,
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a fun game, and it definitely tries to stay as true to the original Capcom release of it as possible. So, and it was nice to have the original TV series voice actors come back. The guy that did Scrooge McDuck's voice, he died
hmm
just a short time after he finished up all that, but it was nice to have him do it just one more time.
yeah, it was nice to have Alan Young come back, reprise his role as Scrooge McDuck, and then, of course, he had the original voice actors who provided the voice of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And She also provided the voice of Webby. Her name escapes me at the moment, but
Webigail.
yeah.
Yep,
I'm,
Webby.
I'm talking about the voice actress.
Oh, no idea. No idea. Well, let's see. Voice actress for Webby in DuckTales 80s. Russi Taylor is no, she is it. She does the original. Yeah, Russi Taylor was the voice actress for Webigail. She was born in 44. So at the time that she did that, 44, 54, 64, 74. She was in her 40s when she voiced her originally, and she did pass away in 2019. But it also looks like she did Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Mm-hmm.
So she she did quite a bit. She also did Minnie Mouse and a few other things during the late for the 2000s. So, yep, a prolific voice actress. She did a lot.
She certainly did. And Brandon, I do want to thank you for taking the time tonight to join me on the Adventure Continues, a Star Trek discussion to talk about In the Pale Moonlight. I mean, this is an episode as a Star Trek fan, as a fan of Deep Space Nine, you have to watch it.
Yeah, it's an absolute must watch. It's one of the best. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Mike. And yeah, I hope to see you all sometime in the future.
Yes, and everybody, if you haven't done so already, please go over to Brandon's channels, subscribe and follow his channels. Follow him on X and get all the updates on his next live streams and what's on his mind as far as anime shows that he's watching. You're a great guy, Brandon.
Well, thank
It's
you.
always good to talk good Star Trek and also talk about some anime.
Yes. Yeah, it's always a lot of fun to do this. So thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And of course, I do appreciate Lady Mist for being here. Admiral, it's always good to see you. Snorty, likewise, always good to see you. DJ Ronnie G, appreciate seeing you, brother. And let me go up the list and make sure I get Tim, who is also here. Tim, thank you for being here. And of course, Brandon, thank you for chatting with everybody in the chat. And of course, Tim, thank you for the 2-month member chat. Really appreciate it. And I owe you this for that very chat.
There are some who call me Tim.
And I also want to thank those who came over to the Cosme side. Tree Rock, thank you for stopping over on the Cosme side. Of course, Snorty was there as well. DJ, Tim, Lady Mist, thank you all very much. And I hope to see everybody tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for the Sunday edition of Pacific Forum for Pop Talk, where we will be talking about the Skydance Media and Paramount merger, and also Skydance's future plans for Paramount brands, including Star Trek. That'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube and Rumble channel. And until next time, everybody, take care. And as always, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
And you're her favorite vampire, Brandon.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
All right.